And welcome back to Custode Central. We've got a very short kind of news typey episode today, and we've got some really good news, some exciting news. We've got a Custodes versus Custodes in the Tacoma Super Major Finals. They go into the final game, each going 7-0 undefeated. Let's have a quick look through their lists. So Steve Trimble has gone 7-0, beating Custodes, Eldari, Necrons, Deathwatch, Necrons, Eldari, and Eldari. He has gone with 3 bricks of 10 Guardians, all of them with the same loadout. They have a Vex with a shield and a Misericordia and 1 sword and board, and the rest all spears times 3. They have got Trajan, they have got a shield captain with a spear and a shield captain with a spear and Ceaseless Hunter. Ceaseless Hunter gives them fallback and shoot charge, and they can also move 6 inches when something ends a move within 9 inches of them. They've got four prosecutors, a Calidus, and 2 exaction squads. So we can see here this is a very, you can see very clearly what the game plan is here. They've got the 3 bricks to play the primary game, and they've got the prosecutors to Calidus and the 2 exaction squads to do the secondary game. So, I mean, looking at the armies that they beat, I think it's very impressive that they've beaten Eldari 3 times here. I think with the Necrons, when you've got bricks this large, you've got a very decent chance just kind of one-shotting the things that would reanimate a lot and be a pain for you. But we can see that they seem to crush all that. I would note, however, that they seem to have gone first in a lot of the matchups, and I think this will help massively. Obviously, if you can just advance to the points, that way you get all your fight first everywhere, and you're pretty happy with that. Having a look at Hank's list, has also gone 7-0 going into the final. He is running more of a kind of standard list, although I would note he's got a very cool piece of tech that I looked into earlier and I thought it's too expensive. Turns out it's not too expensive. So let's have a quick look. They've got a Blade Champion for the Advance and Charge. They've got a Shield Captain for the free strats, and they've got a Shield Captain in Aloris Terminator armor. They are also running a large blob, but only 9 Guardians instead of 10. Here they've got the Vex with the shield and 3 sword and board. So this is actually just a lot of 4 winged models taking being able to take hits, and I suspect this is to be able to take hits versus shooting, so that they can survive on the board, and you're still going to have a lot of spears intact to do a lot of swinging back. They've got 5 Alaris, which is also really good. This gives you some shooting into hordes, with the ballistus grenade launchers with the blast. Obviously, re-rolling wounds everywhere versus characters, vehicles, monsters, and not being pinned to an objective is super good. They've got 2 Caladius tanks. This is giving you some long-range anti-tank firepower. It's giving you the ability to shoot some nasty, horrible monster models that you might not want to deal with in combat, etc. They've got 6 Wardens, able to take a hit, very good. Witch Seekers, I suspect this is just because they weren't able to afford an assassin that can infiltrate or scout. That's my guess. Also, specifically, I understand they were taking into GSC. Obviously, Witch Seekers having Flamers is nice into GSC. I'm not sure 4 or 5 of them would do, because unless you clear the entire unit, you don't get to start taking out the really nasty weapons in the GSC squad. So my gut suspicion is that this was just for the scout move. And the really cool tech piece they've got is a cheap Inquisitor and henchman with a Mystic and a Demon Host. So when the henchman retinue are led by an Inquisitor, they get -1 to be wounded. The Demon Host is giving up a 5-up invul. But the really cool thing is that the Mystic model is giving a 12-inch deep strike deniable, kind of like the infiltrators in Space Marines. So for them to get to the finals, they beat Eldari, which is impressive. Imperial Knights. I think this is doable with 2 Caladius and some good terrain. Thousand Suns, GSC, which is the matchup they teched for, CSM, Imperial Knights, and Chaos Demons. Obviously, the Chaos Demons, we expect to be doing pretty well into them, and because with the fight first, and the Mystic in the Inquisitorial Henchman is obviously helping that matchup to stop them having their 6-inch deep strikes. So in the finals, it looked like Steve Trimble went first. He just pushed everything up the board. He got some good advance rolls. He got onto the primary points. But obviously he wasn't able to do any shooting. He doesn't really have that many guns anyway. He just has a bunch of spear shooting, but everything obviously was null deployed from Hank's end. Looks like Hank on his turn 1, he did a lot of shooting. He had his 2 Caladius. He picked up just 4 Guardians, and then he did a lot of shooting with his with the spears. Obviously they're all damaged too, so he wasn't able to. It didn't look like he was able to get a lot of cover saves versus all that shooting to one squad. So he looked like he lost a lot of guys just failing 3-up saves. And then we went into charges, but obviously one of Steve's kind of big blobs had taken massive casualties. So effectively, only one of Steve's big units was able to strike first. Hank looked like he popped his mastery of the the karate thing, so he got all three -1 to hit, exploding sixes and lethal hits, and he popped arcane genetic alchemy. Now Steve chose to spend the CP to fight first, completely understandable. But when he did all his attacks, he only managed to kill about 2 3/4 of the shields from Hank's side. After the -1 and the AGA, the damage just wasn't there. Steve didn't have the ability to pop AGA on his squad, it looks like, and he took like 6 or 7 casualties back. So we're still in the final game, but I think from what I'm looking at, it looks like it's all over. I suspect if Hank had gone first, it might look different, because then Hank would have to spend CP or a strat or a free strat to fight first, and then Steve would have been able to pop AGA, and Steve has access to the Calidus Assassin, so if he had got Reign of Confusion off on Arcane Genetic Alchemy on Hank's side, it might have been able to kind of push the balance. But obviously I think having 2 Caladius tanks in the mirror is pretty rough. It's pretty rough. Anyway, I don't think that this is going to lead to massive nerfs for Custodes. As far as I know, this is the only kind of event where Custodes are kind of doing really well in the finals. Obviously, I think they are still pushing up good results because, in my mind, they're still kind of a gatekeeper army. But we will see how the meta develops. One of the interesting things is that we've got 2 completely different kinds of lists, right? We've got Hank's list, which has the core tech piece. It's gone for the 2 Caladius. It's pretty standard, other than it's got a big Guardian blob, but this one has a lot of shields in it. Whereas Steve's list is just full infantry all the time, get in your face. So we'll see that, it's interesting to see that you can kind of build Custodes in completely different ways and still have good success. But we will see how the meta develops. Also, big shout out to JCMS. He hangs out in the Canham Discord. He does the 40k Meta Mondays, for bringing it to my attention live, so I can get this video out in a timely manner. But anyway, hopefully this was entertaining for all you Custodes fans out there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we still have a video that we're working on at the moment in terms of tier lists and army construction. All right, thanks very much.